host on this channel. In this video, we will have our discussion on the yearly predictions for the next year 2024 for all the rising signs. And before we will start our discussion, I wish all of you heartiest wishes and blessings of this upcoming new year. May all of your wishes come true. May you will find your purpose, and this year will bring you good wealth, health and happiness in all areas of your life. So guys, before we will jump into the customized results for this upcoming new year, customized to your Lagna, let's first try to understand how the vibe of this year collectively is going to be influencing all of us. So guys, if you remember, like at the time when I made a video for the year 2023, I mentioned this thing that from the numerology point of view, the universal year turned out to be of 7, which is a number of extremities because it is being ruled by the planet Ketu. And we all have seen that the war which took place, like Israel and this Hamas situation which we all are witnessing, so that generally tend to remain a theme in the universal year of 7. But guys, when we talk about the vibe of the 2024, the sum total of that will give you the universal year vibration of number 8, which is being governed by the planet Saturn. Second thing is that even in the transit next whole year, Saturn is going to be strengthened in the sign of Aquarius, its own Mool Trikona sign. And Saturn is going to be traveling in the majorly in the Sadbhisha Nakshatra and the Purvabhadrapada Nakshatra. Both of the nakshatra are somehow very much conducive and favorable for Saturn to manifest good results. And also guys, in one of the video, I also mentioned this thing that as per our lunar calendar calculations, this year is also the Samvatsar. It is carrying the energy of the Mars, as Mars is the ruler of this year. So definitely when we talk about the combined energy of the Mars and Saturn, so that definitely benefit all those people who are in the fields of engineering, construction, you are a builder or anything to do with the innovative work. So definitely this year will give you lot many opportunities. Apart from that, Jupiter is going to be transiting in the sign of Aries till the end of the April of 2024, and at the beginning of the May, it will transit to the sign of Taurus. So guys, one thing is for sure that because in the original Kalpurush Kundli, Aquarius is a sign of gains and Taurus is a sign of wealth. Now, as you can see that both of these two planets and these zodiac signs are going to be in a strengthened state because Saturn being in the Aquarius and Jupiter being in the Taurus. Second thing is that the transiting Ketu is now going to be getting aspected by the planet Jupiter. That in itself is a very good indication that in order for you to reap the reward of all those things which you have done, your soul has accumulated from the journey in the past so many lifetimes, this year can actually give you the results of that as well. And lastly guys, I always say this thing that whenever in the transit, if these two major planets, Jupiter and Saturn, are jointly influencing any sign, so the tendency to gain something very substantial connected with the attributes of that zodiac sign tend to remain very strong. So guys, during this year, once Jupiter will transit the sign of Taurus, Jupiter will aspect the sign of Scorpio, and Saturn is already giving its 10th aspect to the sign of Scorpio. So that in itself means that in whichsoever domain Scorpio energy is falling in your chart, you can actually achieve or accomplish something substantial pertaining to the domain of that zodiac sign and that house. So yes guys, after that now we will shift our discussion customized to that basis your ascendant, what this year is going to be bringing up for you. So guys, we will discuss your yearly predictions basis that all the attributes of the house and how they are getting influenced by the transit of the planets next year. So starting first with your first house, which tells about your public image, which tells about your health, which tells about your conviction and confidence to achieve or accomplish things. So guys, nothing would be better than that. An auspicious planet like Jupiter is going to be transiting to your first house on the 1st May of 2024. So that in itself tells about that definitely this year will mark like time of growth, popularity and expansion that will start happening after May 1st. Now guys, when it comes down to seeing the role of the planet Jupiter for you, so definitely Jupiter in your case has got a rulership over your 8th house and your 11th house as well. So if you will go by the role which Jupiter plays for your Lagna, so Jupiter is kind of a functional malefic for you guys, but a planet never leave its true innate nature. So all the attributes of the planet Jupiter, which tells about good fortune, which tells about righteousness, which talks about optimism, will definitely support you. But again guys, because of the houses which Jupiter rules, so definitely all those things which you want to accomplish or achieve, you will be a strong contender, you will stand a very strong chance, but competition and uncertainties will definitely surround that as well. After that guys, looking at your second house, which definitely tells about our immediate family environment, which tells about our eating habits, and which also tells about the finances, financial inflow. So guys, the points which I have written over here is that financially it will be a very stable year with possibility of many sudden big opportunities. Like in the month of March, your second house lord, which is the planet Mercury is going to be transiting in the Aquarius. So now guys, as you know this thing that if Mercury, your second house lord, is going to be transiting in the Aquarius, it is going to be getting conjunct with the planet Saturn as well. So that in itself will be a very good scope for you for some very good sudden big opportunities pertaining to the matters of your career related aspiration. After that guys, in the month of June, Mercury is going to be transiting from Taurus and Gemini. So that in itself is a very good combination. That in itself means that your second house lord is going to be strengthened in its own house. And even when Mercury is going to be transiting from your like first house, it is going to be getting conjunct with the planet Jupiter over there as well. So yes guys, and after that October, in the month of October, Mercury is going to be transiting in the Virgo and Libra. So your second house lord is going to be very accentuated, very well placed in your 5th house and your 6th house. So that in itself means that yes, when it comes down to the matters and concerns of your finances, you are not falling vulnerable in any way. And the specific months which I mentioned over here, I'll repeat it, that in the month of March, Mercury, your second house lord, and your 5th house lord being conjunct with the planet Saturn in the 10th house will mark some very sudden big opportunities. In the month of June, Mercury will be transiting from your first house and the second house, which will again a very good indication for some concrete and substantial financial decision making. And lastly guys, in the month of October, any of the concerns of getting loan approved or some significant accomplishments at your work front or succeeding in any competitive situation, the planet Mercury will definitely support you. After that guys, let's move to your third house, which tells about your connections, which tells about your communication and all sort of resources and the support. So guys, as you can see over here, that there will be fear while initiating new plans. So again guys, as you can see that in your third house, you will find the energy of the planet moon in the form of the Cancer sign being falling over there. And now as you know this thing that the whole vibration of the year 2024 is being governed by the planet Saturn, and Saturn generally torments moon a lot. So that is the only reason guys I have written this thing over here, that definitely you will be able to take some important decision, but some sort of inherent fear will always surround it while initiating any of the new plans. Moving ahead to your like 4th house, so definitely guys, in your 4th house, as you can see over here, that during this year Saturn is going to be straight away expecting it. And because Jupiter is going to be transiting in your 1st house as well after the month of May, so I would say this thing that the points which I have written over here pertaining to the matters of your 4th house, which gives you stability, which gives you security, any of the decision connected to the housing related concerns as well, and when we talk about your capacity to experience luxury as well. So the points which I have mentioned over here is that you will be able to shoulder many responsibilities with perfection and ease during this year. Definitely, why I'm saying this thing, the base to that is because of the direct aspect of the planet Saturn and Jupiter transiting in your ascendant. Moving ahead guys, now pertaining to the matters of your fifth house, which tells about the concerns of the progeny, which also tells about the way your mind function and any of the artistic and creative aspiration of yours. So guys, as you can see over here that the good thing over here is that Ketu is already transiting in your fifth house, and over and above that, once Jupiter will enter the sign of Taurus in your first house, it will start aspecting the Virgo sign or this transiting Ketu. Now guys, see, there are lot many combinations which are getting formed for you guys. Ketu in itself in the fifth house holds this capacity to churn out, extract the attributes and results of all those things which your soul has attained from the journey from past so many lifetimes, from past so many birth. And with Jupiter, specifically Jupiter aspecting this Ketu, your fifth house, that in itself is an indication that after the month of May specifically, many will reap the rewards of good deeds done in the past. Jupiter aspecting Ketu in fifth house, because of that, people will progress rapidly in their spiritual or speculative goals. So yes, that is all what I have written pertaining to the matters of your fifth house. So yes guys, I will not be surprised that suddenly after when Jupiter will transit to your first house and start aspecting your Ketu in the fifth house, so some of the investment which you have done in the past, suddenly some very lucrative return you will get on that. Some people will start getting some very good offers if you're connected with any of the artistic creative field, or attracting any of the twin flame, any of the lover in your life with whom you have got some very commonly shared goals. So regarding all that front, definitely see guys, standalone or individually Ketu being placed in your fifth house is not a very easy energy to deal with. But trust me, once Jupiter will enter your first house and start aspecting this Ketu, your fifth house, you will start reaping the rewards of not only this lifetime but past so many lifetimes. After that guys, let's look at your sixth house. So guys, in your sixth house, which generally tells about the concerns of loan, concerns of your health, and it also tells about your daily life. So guys, over here I have written this thing that many will advocate, preach and abide by fairness and integrity in any complex environment. There will be order and calmness in the daily life. So yes guys, pertaining to the matters of the sixth house of yours, it's not getting as chaotic as otherwise it could have. So because as you can see over here that till the time Jupiter was there, like till April of 2024 when Jupiter was transiting in your 12th house, it was in any case giving its straight aspect to your 6th house. And even when Jupiter will transit to your 1st house, the good part over here is that your 6th house carries the energy of your ascendant lord in itself. And now as you can see that with Jupiter transiting in your 1st house and Saturn transiting in your 10th house, so overall I am definitely seeing some sort of order and calmness in your daily work life. So I do not know what kind of yogas you have in your chart, what kind of dashas are operational, but looking at the transit of the planets, I'm not seeing any chaos in your daily work life, any sort of chaos which is making your health vulnerable or which is making you vulnerable in any of the financial, lending, credit or dealing. Moving ahead guys, now pertaining to the matters of your 7th house, which tells about the matrimonial concerns, which tells about your public image, which tells about your commercial interest and all. So guys, as you can see over here that because during this year, I have mentioned this thing at the introduction part of this video as well, that in the transit, Saturn and Jupiter are jointly influencing the Scorpio sign. Jupiter with its Jupiter with its 7th aspect and Saturn with its 10th aspect. So that in itself means, and guys, one more thing, they both are placed in some very good dignity. It's not like that Jupiter is placed in a good sign but it is placed in your 12th house or in your 8th house. Jupiter is placed in your 1st house and aspecting your 7th house. Saturn is placed in one of its most dignified placement in the 10th house in its Mool Trikona sign and giving its one of the best aspect, which is the 10th aspect. So I would say guys that beyond doubt pertaining to the matters of your 7th house, and that will start working out more strongly after the 1st May of 2024. So pertaining to the matters of your seventh house, which is about finding a right partner or some significant leap and bound development or progress at your professional front, suddenly getting into limelight regarding all that front, or any of the concerns of your seventh house, this year is creating some very good energy, very good yoga for the Taurus Lagna natives. So guys, the point which I have written over here is that significant developments in commercial interest, public image and matrimonial matters. Moving ahead guys, now pertaining to the matters of your 8th house, which carries the energy of the planet Jupiter in the form of Sagittarius sign falling over there. So guys, your 8th house and the 11th house lord is transiting in your first house. I have already mentioned this thing. If you will go by the rulership, so Jupiter kind of becomes a functional kind of malefic for you, but because of the innate nature of the planet Jupiter is of purity, of auspiciousness, of good fortune. So I would say guys that pertaining to the matters of your 8th house, you will definitely have gains through inheritance, joint resources and progress for researchers and explorers. Now guys, moving ahead to your 9th house. So guys, as you can see over here that in your 9th house you carry the energy of the planet Saturn. In a way, Saturn is your Yogaraka planet because of the rulership over your angular house and the trine house. Now what does 9th house tells about? 9th house plays a very significant role in giving us direction. Divinity supports us through the 9th house. All sort of travels, all sort of higher wisdom, knowledge we see from the 9th house. So now what is happening in the 9th house? So guys, the point which I have written over here is that many will get a chance to do something inspiring. Travels, especially pilgrimages, will prove to be very rewarding. Those seeking work permit, PR, citizenship will definitely succeed. Now guys, coming to your 10th house. So definitely guys, in your 10th house, Saturn is going to be transiting over there. Saturn plays a very significant role, becoming your Yogaraka planet, transiting in such a auspicious house as well. And with Jupiter this year transiting in your first house as well, guys, I do not have any doubts if you are in that crossroad. But again guys, try to understand this thing. Saturn in the 10th house has got more to do with asking the God, please give me more work. Please give me more clients. Please give me more platform to prove myself. Again guys, when we talk about the return or recognition, that only will happen for you as well when Saturn will enter the 11th house. But when it comes down to 10th house, what matters more is that, or how you can modify your prayers is that, ask for the platform to perform. The Saturn is a planet of fairness, of judgment, of justice. You will definitely reap what you will sow when Saturn is influencing your 10th house. But the right way of doing your prayers is that do not ask yet about the returns, about the recognition. Ask more for the platform and more work. And definitely Saturn is in a state to grant you that. So yes guys, pertaining to the matters of your professional aspiration, I would say that you are heading towards some very good time. You might have to work very hard beyond doubt. Saturn is there in your 10th house and nothing would be better than that if your aspirations are connected with the Saturn, like any of the political aspiration, being in the fields of research, exploration, astrology, occult, iron, mining, construction, building material, any of these fields, definitely Saturn will support you. And also guys, for all those people who are out of job, out of business, out of work, so the year is marking some very good yoga for being back in the job market, but have to work hard. There is no denying of that. Now guys, pertaining to the matters of your 11th house, definitely guys, you have Rahu transiting over there. So guys, as you know this thing that when it comes down to the 11th house Rahu and the kind of role which Rahu plays for your rising sign. So Rahu becomes a very important planet, like a game changer planet for the Taurus Lagna natives. Like definitely guys, Rahu is in its good dignity. So I would say that do not create any hurdle for yourself, because Rahu is a planet which wants to try new things, which wants to explore things. You cannot bound or restrict Rahu to any rule book or to any specific parameters. So my recommendation to the Taurus Lagna native is that socialize more, try new things, explore new opportunities, meet new people, travel as much as you can, and the more experience you will take, the more opportunities you can create for yourself. So again guys, for anything to do with becoming popular, for more followers, for more recognition, or being in a cosmopolitan mindset, suddenly being introduced to someone who is very important, someone who is very famous, or let's say for example you have lived your life with a complete orthodoxy and suddenly you are being introduced to new lifestyle, to new form of thinking, new ideologies. So all these experiences are waiting for you. And lastly guys, pertaining to the matters of the 12th house, which tells about the foreign settlement, which tells about the expenses, losses. So the points which I mentioned over here is that not much hidden threats. Year is more promising for being in the center stage. Foreign travels in April will be extremely rewarding for career, and May will be extremely volatile for matrimonial alliances, awards and all. So let's dig deep into it. So guys, when I say this thing, because in your case your 12th house lord becomes the planet Mars. So I have mentioned over here is that April will be extremely rewarding for your career. So as you can see that in the month of April, Mars is going to be getting conjunct with planet Saturn in your 10th house. So because of that, I mentioned this thing that it will be very rewarding for your career, because Mars has got a rulership over your 12th house, but it has also got a rulership over your 7th house as well. And I mentioned that May will be extremely volatile for matrimonial alliances, awards and all. Now why I mentioned this thing? Because in the month of May, Mars is going to be conjunct with the planet Rahu, that too in your 11th house. So as you know this thing, Mars becoming your 7th house lord as well. So that in itself means that for anything to do with recognition, because Mars is your 7th house lord of marriage as well, suddenly finding a partner, getting into matrimonial alliances, any of the recognition. And just because guys, when it comes down to Rahu, there is always a double-edged sword. So for certain people, if you are not very careful, you have got some vulnerable yogas in your chart as well, then this could be some sudden allegation as well. But yes guys, pertaining to the matters of your matrimonial alliances, public image, integrity and all, the month of May is going to be very volatile. So yes guys, this is something which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs. For further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page.